Recording in progress. Okay,
Yes, Kunanji.
just a moment, sir. I should. Okay, so sir is not today, but the show must go on. So very good morning, one and all. This is Kauran Shahidi on behalf of Sukhdeepak Malwai. Very good morning and welcome to another powerful, empowering morning conversation. So as usual, another day, but another opportunity to become a better version of ourselves. So whatsoever we did yesterday, let's reflect upon how exactly the day went, what did we achieve, and how today we'll be becoming a better person than yesterday. That's how we have to progress and keep on improving little bit by bit by bit by bit. So as you all know, now I have become completely aware that why I am here in this empowering morning conversation. And as the name suggests, we get empowered and we learn, we practice, and we rediscover ourselves, which somewhere lost because of some reason. And the reason is nothing but the world where we live is full of negativity, full of judgments, full of finding faults, full of blaming, full of becauses, full of complaining. So the world where we live with all such negativity, it's definitely challenging for us to maintain that positivity. And as sir used the word, the bombardment, so we all get bombarded with all the negativity, even from self. Our mind keeps on telling the negative things about the situation, about the people, about the moment. So what we do here, which we keep on doing since last 233 days, that we ensure that we become positive and we ensure that we have the power to face the negativity. And also we have the power to convert those negativity into positivity, starting with self and then with the family, friends, and others. And the mission is to have the impact to the entire universe from our positive approach, positive attitude, because it's all about energy. So if we have the positive energy and if we can generate and radiate and let the world know, then that's what it is. And sir has always told us, and we all know this, what? That we are magnificent, wonderful, and extraordinary human beings. And these are not just words, these are the reality. And also sir has told that since we are wonderful, extraordinary, and magnificent human being, we deserve to be loved and respected for who we are. And for what we have to keep on practicing whatsoever sir has told us, taught us various tools, various learning points. And one of the most important point, what sir was talking yesterday and day before, is if we have to respect ourselves and if we want to love ourselves and the others, we have to be open to receive and we have to drop all the barriers, all such elements which stop us or stop receiving the things which we want from universe. So that's what we do. And in short, any newcomer today, Ramaji, or we all are same?
Yeah, no newcomers yet.
No newcomer. Let's keep on admitting Sagar also. So what we do here in short is we practice to shift ourselves, shift our mindset, shift our thinking process, shift our approach, shift our way of looking to the world from default mode. And default mode is what, as you all know, is usual reaction, usual judgment, usual resistance, usual causes, usual negativities, usual blaming, usual fear, all such things. So we shift our mindset or our mind from those default mode to creation mode, because we are magnificent, extraordinary, and a powerful human being. So it means we have the power to create. And Sir has always told that we have the power to choose. So we can choose whatever we want to choose. We should not, or we should always ensure we shift in a specific moment with a complete awareness. If we are going towards the negativity, with the awareness, we can shift to the creation mode of choosing the positivity. And that's what we all are looking for. Though we don't express, but somewhere hidden desire is that all of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory, because that's what the ideal life we all are looking for. But when we are in the place, when in the world of negativity, how will it come? It would be very challenging. It would be possible only when we shift completely from the default mode of reaction, resistance, complaining, and blaming to mode of creation of possibility, positivity, and all the optimism and all the choices. So let's start today's conversation, and it's going to be another powerful day, another day where we will learn, reflect upon, and rediscover ourselves, and will take throughout the day the action which is with the creation mode. So thank you so much, Ramaji. And let's today, sir will not be here. So Ramaji will lead the session, and we are here to support and share our sharing to take this conversation further. So let's help to welcome Mr. Ramazen. Give a big round of applause.
Thank you, Kunanji. Thank you for welcoming. So let's get started with our power of generation. So Reddy Garu, would you like to lead that power of generation?
Yes, sir. I'll start with the 1, 2, 3. Please laugh without making any sound. 1, 2, 3.
Come on, you can generate the. Yes. Gopalji, you're not a fan. Come on, Gopalji. Niti is looking towards some camera somewhere. Come on. प्रिया जी रोटी बना रहे हैं अभी तक. Gautam ji was walking somewhere. Good. Feeling good. Yes, sir. Okay.
Thank you, Reddy Garu. So, Niti ji, I just wanted to capture a few points we discussed last few days before you start your sharing. So let me put it in screen share. So as we all know, the purpose of our everyday gathering here is to have all of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. So everything comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. That is what we are working towards. So some of the questions we have been asking, Sir has been asking yesterday, day for yesterday is, what are your jails, constraints and challenges? What stops your freedom? What is freedom? First of all, freedom from what? Chaos. Yesterday, Cyrus talked about chaos. How does it help? What's your power and responsibility? So these are some of the questions I think it came up. Actually, there were a lot more questions which came yesterday. So some of them are this. So with this in background and the last 2 days discussions, let's get started with our sharings, our experience and our thoughts on this. So Nitiji, please, let's get started with you, please.
Yes, sir. I really, at the moment, do not have anything much to say, excepting that what has come across to me in these sessions and in practical life is when there is chaos or when there is something which is not in its normal zone, instead of leading the situation with our own mind and judgment, I feel when I let myself go with the vibes, with the energies and the direction that I'm getting with the energies, I perform well, I perform better, and things smoothen out amicably. It's not always important to jump into a situation. Sometimes it's best to let the situation make you swim through it. That's all I would like to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Nitiji. Yeah. So yes, anybody else would like to share on what's going on last few days? And more specifically, if you want to focus on, we can focus on freedom. What is freedom? Do we have freedom? Can we get the freedom? Freedom from what? How do we go about doing that? So we can probably reflect on that if you want to, or of course you can share many other things what we have been talking about. Yes, Reddy Garu.
Good morning. Sir asked one question yesterday. What will give me real freedom and who will give me real freedom? I think myself will give real freedom, sir, because I am the one who has to give real freedom. That's what I feel.
Yeah, if I may add, Shri Prasad Garu, if you say I am the reason, so can you elaborate more? Like, how do you say and what exactly you mean that I am?
Yeah, so the multiple choice question is answered. Now the can you write a little bit more paragraph?
Sir, I means I am being myself.
But who are you? See, if let me put my thoughts, Rama sir.
Yes, sir.
One thing what I have got the clarity that we are not our mind, or I am not my mind. It was my previous misconception that I am mind. I am not mind. I own my mind. So my mind, as Sir has always told, there are 3 types of brain. And if we are not aware and if we are not using our rational brain, then we get trapped into the reaction, judgment, fear, and all such stuffs of negativity. So, in my opinion, the brain number 1 and brain number 2 are the major contribution of miseries in our life. So if I have to say that I am not managing my brain number 1 and 2, and I'm not using my brain number 3, the rational mind, what sir has told, then we get lost into all the difficulties, challenges and all. What do you say, Reddy Garu?
Yes, sir. I agree with you. But being in awareness is we have to practice. That's what I feel.
So what are you practicing to be in awareness?
Yeah, for example, today morning, I'm very happy because sir asked we have to celebrate every day. I'm happy today because I'm alive. Really, I celebrate today.
Yes. Very good. Thank you, sir. I think, Ramaji, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Kunanji. Thank you, Reddy Garu. So, Kunanji, you said, I know I possess, I own my mind. Actually, I don't even own my mind. I possess the mind, and many things are hit. If I own, then it is under complete control with me, right? That's not the case. So anyway, so we are learning here on how do we manage all these things. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, anybody else would like to share?
Yeah, I want to say, may
Yes. Yes, sir.
What are we talking about freedom? I think freedom is for the mind only. See, to control the mind is the most difficult thing, I think, in the world. Once you are able to do that, and then you have achieved everything. You're then really empowered, And how to do that, that's the most difficult thing to do.
Can I add something?
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir.
Shoghi, what's that?
Ashok here. Can I add something?
Yes, sir. Please go on. So, Gopalji, anything else you would like to add?
Yeah,
Before
please,
Ashok?
I go on. Ashokji, go on,
Yeah.
please.
Yes, Ashokji.
I'll do later.
I think I had explained this quite some time back, because which I am influenced for maybe last 15, 20 years or more than that. They gave an example that our mind is like a brain or mind, whatever you call, 1, 2, 3 numbers are their divisions, but that is a black box. Anything that happens keeps on happening in our life.
Yeah.
Like a black box in a plane, it records. And unfortunately, it is able to draw or bring out negative things about from that whenever occasion comes. For example, we meet a friend whom we have given 10 rupees 10 years ago when in college or something. But when he comes, instead of greeting him, हम बोलते हैं अरे उसने 10 रुपए मेरा वापस नहीं किया है. The distance between brain and the mouth is so small. It is much smaller than the heart and the mouth. That one. So before the heart starts speaking, the brain starts speaking and controls us. So this is one type, but all our habits, all our reactions, they come from that mind like a black box, and they try to tell कि देखो इधर ऐसा है, so be careful. And that is what we have to, which Kunyan has been saying, that is what we have to learn and control. That black box should remain closed. It should not be opened at all. That black box, maybe if we open it and discharge it, will be better. But otherwise, it gives only negative charges and feelings for us. And for that, for last 234, we are coming out to find out how do we control that. Thank you, sir. Today's session is going to be really not eye opener, but a brain opener. Thank you.
Sir, one way, if I may say so, there is one practice which people are doing, which I have read about it also, that from time to time, you have to get back to what you're thinking, to be aware what is going on in your mind. And then you take immediately right directions immediately to control it to make it convert it to negative to positive immediately. And that practice from time to time, whether it's half an hour or 1 hour, you pause for a minute and think about what is going on in your mind
What is going
and
on?
then shift your things, That's the only practice which I think we have to do.
In short, you are telling that we should have an eraser with us. Whatever has gone in, whatever we want to erase, that should be erased, and only the things which are to be recorded should come forward.
That is already there. But then if from time to time you keep on thinking about it, what's going on in your mind, then you can shift it, with awareness and with conscious control.
Yeah, agreed. But I'm saying that something needs to be erased. It should not be there at all. Some negative feeling, our own negative feelings, or we become captive of those feelings. They should be totally erased. It should be a fresh start, not based on the experience or not based on our judgment. Thank you.
You can't erase it, but you can superimpose it by your positive thinking. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the key. And this reminds me, there is one statement that before we learn something, we have to unlearn and then relearn. So what
Yes.
Ashok sir is telling, or what Gopal sir is telling, is basically we have been conditioned as of today, whatsoever life we have spent. Again, if we want, we can blame because of the society or circumstances or parents or whatsoever. But as an adult, mature adult, we have a responsibility to unlearn if we have learned something which we should not have. Because of some reasons which were not in our control, we have learned. But now we can unlearn. And that's what the other word can be used, to erase. I don't know whether it is possible to completely erase or not, but we can still, by reflecting, as Gopal sir mentioned, by giving a pause, reflecting about the thoughts, what's happening, whether whatever I have learned is correct or not, then we can unlearn and then relearn. So that's how we can progress. That's how we can become a better version of ourselves. And this reminds me what sir has told in that specific moment when we are in the awareness state and we feel that something is wrong, then we have to tell ourselves that it's your interesting point of view, or to others also that it is your interesting point of view. And there's another statement that everything is opposite of what it appears to be, nothing is opposite of what it appears to be. So that way we can hack our mind and ensure that we don't get trapped by our mind, but we can manage our mind to get the real freedom. Rama sir, over to you. Rama sir is
Yes, Kunanji. Yeah. Suresh ji wants to say something. Suresh sir, go on.
Sir, I have joined late, so I want to understand. I'm getting some sense of, some sense, during the conversation, but I want to understand what is the question.
Okay,
Okay.
so what we
Okay.
are reflecting on is whatever we have discussed last 2 days, what Sarah has been asking on various aspects, including freedom, chaos, and many other things. So one thing which came up broad discussion is how do we handle our mind? What is freedom? The freedom is basically how do we manage the mind? So the
Yes.
freedom is within ourselves. That's what Rediger was saying.
Okay.
And then Gopalji was saying, yes, the mind is what we need to manage. Then
Yeah.
we get the freedom. So that's where we have been discussing.
Yes, sir. Exactly. I mean, what I wanted to share my point of view is
Yeah.
that if we take an example, it's like mind is like a magnet. It attracts all iron-related things. Like magnet will have two poles, north and south. Apart from that, we have east and west also. Okay. So all, mind maximum attracts these kind of things. But apart from this iron, we have a lot of metals like gold and all that. Gold cannot be, magnet cannot pick up gold. That we have to choose. So we have to distinguish what is gold and what is iron with our magnet kind of brain, and choose what is appropriate. And I mean, that wisdom we should gain through experience or through discussions or whatever. This is what my opinion.
Yeah, thank you, Sureshji. So if I may add an analogy, what Ashokji was saying, that the negative things come out. So that's probably we have both negative, positive, and neutral things. All of them are there. Because we give a lot of significance to the negative things, it is like attaching a lead onto the negative thinking. So it automatically heavy, and that is the first one which comes out. So if there is a way to not attach that kind of heavy significance for the negative aspects, then we can choose to bring out whichever we want, whether it is a positive thought or negative thought or neutral thought, we can choose. Because we attach too much of significance in terms of either fear or worry or anything, so that without our control, it comes out. So is there a way to make it less weight and not attach too much of significance is what I am wondering. Right, so anybody else would like to share?
So I would like to hear from Suchitra ma'am.
Yeah, of course. Yes, Suchitra, good morning.
So good morning to everybody. I don't really have anything to say, sir, but just I feel that freedom for me is freedom from pettiness, illusion, and to pursue the nobility which I feel is at the core of my being. So that for me, that is freedom. And also to just take a chance that I might not be just this socially conditioned entity, but there might be something much deeper and more immortal, which is hidden beneath that, and to take a chance on that and to be willing to allow that to emerge. That's thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Suchitra. So, like Kunain was saying, I think the mind or the body, whatever we have is ours. It is not that we ourselves. So I as a person is not my body or is not my mind or my emotions. So I am part of the universe. I am universe, miniature universe. That is what we can theoretically understand. But practically realizing that is where the challenge comes in. That's what we are trying to learn on. When I have my body, my mind, my emotions, my energies, how do I put to the right use and optimal use instead of getting stuck or getting dragged into various things. So if the realization comes that I am not just these things, but I am the whole universe and the consciousness as such, then I think things can shift.
And just to add, Ramaji, what
Yes.
Sir has, I remember Sir has taken us through various exercises, and one of the exercise was gratitude, even the body gratitude. So what I have learned that if we, with the awareness, having the attitude of gratitude, so if we are aware that universe has given me so many things, and we have that emotional state of gratitude, and then we add on patience into that, then we can have that moment of awareness with gratitude and patience, where it will be bit less chances of going back to the familiar state of reaction, resistance, and all such negativity. So it's all about practicing to be in that state of mind of awareness with gratitude, patience. And then with the complete attention, Sir has also given us a tool at how to maintain your mind in a specific way of being attentive, so that the energy goes only where our attention is. Thank you so much, sir. I think Niti ma'am wants to say something.
Yes, yes, Nidhi.
We've been talking about the head speaking, the brain speaking to us, and the heart speaking to us, and the competition in between, and how we look at situations. We've discussed this at various levels today, but I still have this little doubt, or should I say, there's just this little corner that I would like a little more insight on. See, we are our own selves, right? We've groomed ourselves, we've grown up, we've had our learnings, our sanskars, whatever, however you want to say, and we continue on this journey. But the issues or the problems happen when within ourselves, we are not able to trust our own judgment at a point of time. There comes a time when our head says something and our heart says something. The situation may say a third thing. And then the conflict begins and we are not able to accept our own analysis of the situation. Our own trust factor gets affected. Somewhere the conviction is not there that, we are analyzing the whole situation correctly. And then we get into a total toss. Can we have some inputs on that? Because that is the situation. Gripping that moment is very important. Gripping ourselves in that moment so that, we are able to realign our mind and the situation and then move forward. So can we have some inputs on that?
Sure, absolutely. I think it's a very valid point all of us go through. There are, I think, many ways to look at it. One of the ways I would like to look at now is with the 5 elements of intimacy, right? If I want to have intimate relationship with myself so that I can be comfortable, I can be open, I can be happy, I can be sharing everything within myself without conflict, right? So as Nitiji, you explained, there is a conflict within myself. But if I can create intimate relationship within myself, there is a good possibility that I am aligned and I'll be able to come out without any stress or the friction and all those things. So what are those 5 elements of intimate relationship, which we have been talking about? Sir has been teaching us so many times. So honor, can I honor myself? Can I trust myself? Can I have gratitude for myself? Can I be vulnerable with myself? Can I have allowance for myself? Right? So if I can really, this is the last thing we do while we talk about relationship with others, we at least give some significance and try to work on that. But are we working towards having intimate relationship within ourselves? So do we have honor, trust, gratitude, allowance, and vulnerability within ourselves? Is one of the ways of looking at the whole thing in ETG. So if I can put that kind of focus and attention and create these 5 elements appropriately within myself, there is a great possibility for me to be in sync with myself and trust myself and do whatever is appropriate for the situation.
Yeah, I think it's a very valid point, Ramaji. And to address the thoughts of Nitiji, what is coming to my mind is, during that situation, whatsoever you experiencing, what you explained, Nitiji, if we work into the reducing the intensity of feelings, because I remember sir has often told this to us that feelings or emotions has a relationship with our thoughts or our energy. And when we say, when we are looking for having freedom, and as we discussed, becoming free of the mind, that's what is ultimate freedom. So when you no longer identify yourself with the mind, then you don't fuel with the focus, attention of energy. In these cases, what you explain is the negative thoughts. So when you are getting rid of negative thoughts by not giving any attention or focus and reducing the intensity gradually, then it with the practice goes away. And when we work on the reducing the intensity of the feelings in those moments, I think the feelings of the positivity or the freedom from the mind will start coming. So that's what my take is on that, ma'am. Over to you, Ramaji.
Yeah, Nitiji wants to say something. So
No, he addressed that situation, because I was looking at that connect between having the relationship, a harmonious relationship with yourself using those 5 elements, and the situation you are in, how to bridge that. And that is what he addressed. Thank you.
All right, okay, thank you. Yes, Sagar, you wanted to say something?
Yes, sir. So, sir, how does chaos, or something like that word, chaos can become possibility, sir? I don't think chaos can become any possibility, because we need order to have possibility. So
Yeah,
how
so
does
chaos can help. So the analogy, you remember the analogy I gave, that in our head, we give significance or more weight to the negative thoughts, and for the positive thoughts we may not give weight, or neutral thoughts, right? So when you create chaos, you shake the whole thing, and then the significance attached to the negative thoughts can loosen up, and then all of them, negative, positive, and neutral thoughts all together, can be off at the same level. So then I can choose what I want. So that is the purpose of chaos, to remove that weight or the significance we attach to the negative thoughts.
If I may add to this, Ramaji,
Yes, sir.
chaos is something which is disruption in the monotony. The thing that was going on so long, and we become a part of the program sort of system. Chaos is actually disrupts this and brings you to a new opportunity. That is where actually you are very right, Sagar. Chaos is basically a transition from the present monotony to the newer possibilities. So that way you are transgressing into the order, the possibilities, the order. So therefore chaos is required for, and chaos is the disruption in this present state of, monotony, programmed and all that. And regarding the freedom part of it, my view is that I would like to get rid of all the negativities in my life, imbibe all that we have learned in this early morning conversation in terms of acceptability, gratitude, allowance, and all that we have been talking about, and slowly transgress into this divinity, which Ramaji has said, that I'm a part of, I am he, I am he, I am he. And that is for me is the freedom, ultimate freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Milanji. I think Sagar, you might have got something. I think chaos is a very great topic. I think Suchitra wants to add to that. Go on, Suchitra.
Yeah, so I had 2 points to say. One about Neeti ma'am's, what Neeti ma'am said. So I think that the weightage we give to the words head and heart are, I mean, I somehow think they are one and the same. Actually, what we call our heart is just like some refined form of thought, or just what we call as intuition, which is no different from what anybody else is saying. So what I feel is the way to go through any pressure cooker situation is but complete suspension of what I call my heart and my head, and also that of others. So I completely surrender to divinity for whatever the time is needed in order to go through that situation. And then I see that at the end of the cycle, if I have been present, I'm able to look at things a little better, not while I want to exercise it in the process. So this is one point I wanted to make, sir. Now, the second thing about chaos. So this is from a video I saw. Dr. Here said that, no, there is a difference between chaos and havoc. We seem to equate the two. So I was contemplating what is the difference between chaos and havoc. So how I look at chaos is in any particular situation, if I am causing chaos, it means that with 100% integrity of the moment, I state my case and I don't run away. I don't know what's going to pan out. But the thing is, I don't run away from that, from the box of Pandora's box, which I've opened. And I'm willing to go through willing to be present in order to see what emerges. So that's the difference. And what I find the difference between chaos and havoc is that when people cause havoc, they also shake up the status quo, but they disappear from the scene. So that is the difference according to me.
Yeah,
The
havoc
willingness to be present is to see what emerges from the unknown. That I feel is chaos.
Chaos is something which has got a intent. Is I think the difference between chaos and havoc is the intent is this thing. Chaos is not fraudulent; it comes from within, whereas havoc is fraudulent.
Yes, havoc is meant negative, meant for destruction, fraudulent or destructive, whereas chaos is looking at the current state of affairs in very intense manner. And most probably when you create that kind of chaos, there is a great possibility of creating new order. So that's the purpose of chaos. So you created a pattern right now, a particular pattern, but that is not helping, that is not working. So you create a chaos, and then that will allow us to create a new pattern which will empower you. So that's what I would like to say, Sagar, on that. So let's hear from Major Sir and then Niti.
Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So havoc and chaos is a quite good, interesting discussion. In the army, we say something similar about chaos. It is said that it is organized chaos in the army. It be organized section level, platoon level, company level, battalion level, regiment level, and division level. Chaos will be there, but it will be organized. So our life can also be chaos, but there should be some method in madness. And if you're able to organize the chaos, we'll be able to proceed and face life as the way it comes. And secondly, there is slightly, I'm just deviating, but it is quite relevant. There's a discussion in there was a discussion in British Parliament after the Second World War between two famous statesmen called Benjamin Disraeli and Mr. There is one more person. I just forget. Okay. So when one of the House of Commons representative was just speaking, he made a reference to two words similar to chaos and havoc. It is called misfortune and calamity. The other person who was the debate was Mr. Gladstone, and the earlier person was Benjamin Disraeli. So he was just repeatedly making mention of these two words about government policies, the state of
Thank you, Major sir. Yes, Nitiji.
I think the members of the forum have very interestingly taken up the discussion on chaos, and it is an important term to understand. And I would like to hear from some of the others what they think chaos is and how they interpret it. For me, chaos exists on two levels. One is when there is the positive and the negative, or the good and the bad, or the challenging and the easier methods to deal with something, but each has a equally strong magnetic pull, and then you are stuck which way to go, how to handle it. And at another level, chaos is also when everything is right and everything there's a lot to be done at different levels. It creates a chaos in our mind when we are not able to prioritize or structure it properly so that it gets done within the stipulated time or within the deadline. So for me, chaos exists there. I've heard Milind sir, I've heard Major Sahab, I've heard Suchitra. I would like to hear from the others also what they feel chaos is for them, and take it from there. Thank you.
Sure, thank you, Nitiji. Suchitra, you want to add something more? Your hands are still raised.
No, sir, I just typed it in. I'm sorry I will.
Yeah, you can say it. You can say
Yeah,
it.
so I just wrote that for me, chaos is the willingness to suspend my ego voluntarily for a certain period of time in favor of something new and better for all to emerge. So that is how I look at it. It's about going through a period of unknown before taking stock and calling it off or whatever. Just the willingness to go through the unknown for a certain period of time in a very open frame of mind, and to see things as objectively as possible in that period. That is, and to give equal weightage to everybody's viewpoints, knowing at that moment, knowing that they may change, but at that, so it's a very creative sort of situation. Yeah, thank you.
Creative disorder. Thank you, Suchitra. Yes, Abhinavji, go on.
So good morning, one and all. See what I understand from yesterday. Very chaos was topic was started. I think chaos is not about being like chaos in the society. Chaos is chaos within yourself. We have been जैसे चूहे को the way you train a mouse, the way they train a dog. The way they train, that's the way we have been trained right from the time we were born. Ki if you get good marks, then you will be happy. If you get a good job, then you will be happy. If people appreciate you, then you should be happy. And if you don't get good marks, you should not feel happy. If you don't get, if you are not living, if the other neighbor has a better car than you, neighbor has a better, some relative has a bigger house than you, then you should not be happy. So we have been trained like a mouse, we have been trained like a dog over the years. So I think the chaos is just cancel out that. You can be happy any moment, you can be satisfied any moment, you can be fulfilled any moment, you can experience love. See when people do this, then you will experience love. When people do that, you will experience love. You know, you can experience love, whatever happens in the world, you can still experience love. You know, you may lose everything you have in the world, and yet you may experience accomplishment. So that is I think that is the chaos that Sukhdeepak ji, I think was talking about. You know, like a chaos that will make your life great, not a chaos that will disrupt the society. It is a chaos within yourself. So that's what I wanted to share.
Absolutely.
You know, so yeah.
Yes, Abhinavji. Well said. Yeah.
Thanks.
Wow.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So in the same lines, what I also perceive is that in default mode, we get our own patterns formed in life, right? The way we behave, the way we live, there is a particular pattern emerging. In EMC, what Mr. Sukhdeepak Malwai is doing is creating chaos in us by the way of questioning the status quo, by the way of asking questions, by the way of making us to think. I think there is a chaos created within ourselves, which will help us to create a new pattern, which will be empowering. So that's the way I look at it. Thank you, Abhinavji.
Good.
Yes, Sagar.
So in chaos, one does not feel good about the chaos for sure. When one see the chaos, he does not feel about the chaos. But by seeing the positive aspect of it and seeing the possibility of it, is there a creativity in chaos, sir? From there, we can create something from chaos.
Absolutely.
Because if we see chaos, lots of the time we think of the wars and so many negative things on the chaos because of war. We think of the war, but sometimes chaos, you know, have also worked in a very different way. The person who came from the chaos became enlightened. Some of the people, I know them. So either chaos is not only for the wars, but it also for the positive aspect of creativity and some productivity. Is can we transport the chaos into possibility and creativity?
Yes, that's right, Sagar. In fact, that is where Suchitra brought out that distinction, chaos versus havoc. So what you are talking about, war and all the negativity, is havoc. It is
Yes, sir.
creating negativity, creating destruction is havoc. It is not chaos. Chaos is where in the chaos is a situation where you really don't give significance for any specific thing and look at everything together, shake it up and mix it up, and then see what is new thing coming up. So that is chaos. Whereas whatever the negative connotation you are giving is havoc, not chaos. So as you said, yes, the chaos has creativity very much.
Good.
Just to add on, Ramaji,
Yes, sir.
just to make the thing simple for Sagar, what I was recollecting that I had impression that a chaos is bad or order is good. But what I am learning, and just to give you an analogy to understand, like volcanoes. Sagar, you know volcano.
Right, sir.
So when a volcano erupts, you know, it gives out all the lava, ashes, and all such many things which causing destruction to the area wherever volcano erupts. Okay, so if you think a volcano as a chaos, same time that volcano opens the door for greater possibilities. Like just imagine, and if you read wherever the volcano erupts, lava becomes rock and then fertilizes the area and creates new habitat for animals and different creations. So if you take this analogy with the human being, with ourselves, the chaos. So this chaos has the power to move all of us into the greater possibilities as much as like order. So it is very important to have, and that's what Rama sir explained, that Sukhdeepak sir is taking us through this chaos from all of us from within, that volcano eruptions. So once that volcano erupts, and when we are in the state of possibilities where there is no judgment, just imagine, right now we are in the state of judging in the polarity, good and bad, and all such negativities, reaction. So when we erupt from this chaos and we create the situation where there is no judgment, there is no good, there is no bad. So that state is basically will be in complete order. And that's what we all are into the journey, I believe. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ramaji.
Thank you, Kananji. So Sagar, hope you got, I think it's an interesting discussion, as Nitiji was also saying that there are very good points of view coming out. So if anybody else would like to share their insight on chaos, you are welcome.
I mean, is it to say, hello?
Yes, sir. Gopalji, go on.
Is it to say that chaos is a state of confusion where you don't know what is right, what is wrong, and then find out possibilities to do something new, which emerges from there, from your thinking?
Yes, confusion can be there. Like Major sir was saying, it is the organized chaos typically to change the pattern, to change the order, to create a new empowering order, empowering.
Yes, empowering order, yeah. Quite right. That's what I thought.
Yeah. And it happens in nature as well. It is a natural phenomenon. Chaos is a natural phenomenon. In certain situations, the chaos happens and then new order emerges.
It's going on all the time.
Yeah.
That's what happens, Gopalji. I'm sure that you might have experienced various moments in the life where volcano from us erupts.
Yes.
And that time our consciousness is not in order.
Quite right.
And it creates chaos. So that's what it is. We have to be in that orderly chaos in such a way that we start looking the possibilities, that what exactly is that, without any judgment, as Saras time and again mentioned this. So that gets, the judgment gets removed, and then we be in the state of oneness and allowance, complete acceptance of a self and others' point of views. Interesting.
Yeah, the freedom also can be linked to the chaos. Where maybe with the great chaos, there is a good possibility of getting excellent freedom as well. Yes, Suchitra. Yes, Gopalji, before Suchitra starts.
One aspect is that in that case, state of chaos and confusion, you might you might do something which you might regret later on. And that as you go on in life, there are few things which you think that that period of time, you were quite confused, you were quite in chaos, you did something which you had to regret. And then, that makes it very painful, later on. And that also takes time overcome,
Yeah, in chaos, there is a good possibility of not making any mistakes because you are presented with so many multiple viewpoints and different levels of impact. I think you may not choose something bad at that time. That's what I tend to think. So when you are in default mode, you may, but when you are in chaos, what is chaos? There is no one path. There are multiple paths presented in front of you, and everything seems to be right, or everything seems to be not clear. But then when you stay with that, there is a good possibility to emerge right path rather than taking some thing which you may regret later. So that's what I think.
And Ramaji, this reminds me, I have observed Sukhdeepak sir has always told us that be in the question. He
Yeah.
asked a question, I say be in the question. So what I have learned is that, that's like if I relate with the chaos, it's basically a creative energy. In other words,
Yeah,
Gopal.
exactly.
And this creative energy opens a door, a totally a different reality.
Right.
And every time when we ask this question and when we be in the question, then we are instilling that chaos within our body, within our system. And then universe gets to work because when we are in the question, we are editing the creative energy and universe is working on to fulfill our request. And then we get the results, that magic, what we were discussing the other day. So interesting. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Back to you.
yeah, thank you, thank you. Yes, Suchitra, after that, Kuldeep ji.
Yeah, yes, sir. So this is just a variation of what I have said earlier, but this point came to me that chaos is a state of negotiation. You are in a state of negotiation for something better, and it's a very fluid thing. Whereas havoc is like, it's non-negotiable. Somebody has taken a stance and they are not willing to budge from it. So, and there is the same scenario continues day after day, year after year, with no possibility of resolution, whereas chaos is very fluid and you are like you said, open to multiple, really open to multiple inputs, even though you might not act on all of them, but you are open to receiving them. So that is what distinguishes. So everybody feels heard in a state of chaos, whereas in a state of havoc, people don't know whether their opinions count or no. So it's like that.
Yes, that's
Thanks.
right. Yeah, yeah. Yes, Kuldeep ji. You have to unmute. Yeah. Yes, sir.
No, I have a little doubt
Yes, sir.
that chaos, as a dictionary defines the meaning of chaos as absence of order. And when there is absence of order, how there can be orderly chaos? This I have not understood.
Right. So it is
Okay.
not, it is not static thing like absence of order. It is a creation of disorder. To look at multiple aspects of it and to come out with a new order, empowering order. So that is chaos.
No, this is, we are using the definition. But as it is defined
Mhm.
in the written literature, it is always confusion, it is absence of order. So I am not able to understand that in the case of where there is absence of order, there is confusion, how the creativity emerges. This is my doubt.
Yeah, so that's yeah, it's a valid doubt. The thing is, obviously there will be confusion. See, in my, I'm just taking a simplest approach that I am in default mode and my understanding is certain way, right? Even though it is not helping me, even though it is not empowering me, I am okay with that because I'm used to that default mode of thinking. But the moment I bring, and it seems to be order, so I'm going about my life with whatever I have. I may be cribbing, I may not be enthusiastic, I may be not fully empowered, but still there is an order. So I think, this is helping me to lead my life in an orderly way, right? So that is not really the complete satisfaction or the complete function of myself as a human being. So I can function in a much more different and much more empowering, much more better way. So that is where the chaos comes into picture, because I cannot change my default mode into the creative mode just like that. So there is a disorder getting created because I'm used to a disempowering order. By looking at different viewpoints and aspects, there is obviously a disorder, there is a confusion. So in that confusion, I come out with the creative mode. So that's what I would like to say, sir. It is, see, chaos never stays for long. Chaos is a temporary phenomena to create new emerging path. in that there will be disorder, there will be confusion, but ultimately it will emerge as a new empowering order. So that's my understanding. So without creating the confusion, without creating the disorder, you cannot change the pattern from your default pattern to another empowering pattern.
And in other words, just to for Kuldeep sir, chaos, what we are discussing here is basically a, I remember sir has given the exercise of that expansiveness, you remember? So basically this is the way of feeling or finding the expansiveness of possibilities, all such possibilities beyond the limitation of our mind. So that's what, volcano example is such a wonderful example. I recollect.
Yeah. Also, another example we can think of, sorry, Kunanji, another example we can think of is the Big Bang Theory, right? When the whole universe was in a very tiny dot with a huge mass or whatever it is, there was some order, but when it got expanded, which keeps expanding even today, there is a chaos. But then there is a lot of things which are getting emerged. So that confusion and disorder is a temporary thing for the greater order for future. So that's what comes to me. Yes, Kuldeep ji. So go on. Anything else you have in mind?
And second thing, I just put up a different point of view, that when we say that we attract more to negativity and than positivity, it also implies that we are saying that mind's nature is to get attracted towards negativity more. I want to put up another point, which means that mind nature is not to attract towards negativity, because mind, when we have heard and we have learned many times that man jo hai wo chanchal hai, its nature is fleeting, it doesn't stay at one place. So what I'm saying is a little contrary to this. If mind nature is fleeting, nature means anything which behaves all the time, every place, irrespective of any outer condition, then it is nature. For example, fire, it burns. It will burn anytime, anywhere, any place, to anyone. Then to nature. If there is only one exception where fire is not burning and fire is giving a cooling effect, then we cannot say it is the nature of fire. One exception enough. So when we say mind is fleeting, it means every time it should show this behavior. But there are occasions when we observe that mind does not go anywhere. For example, we have seen that the songs of films, sometimes they are displayed before the film is released. And suppose somebody likes a song, but he has not seen the film, and he is waiting for that film to listen to that song basically. And when he goes to theater, when the song comes, it only lasts for 2 to 2.5 minutes. And those 2 to 2.5 minutes, where does his mind go? It will not go anywhere. It will be on that song only. When we are going somewhere in a city, and suddenly we see our old 25 years old friend is coming. We meet him. For nature 2-3 minutes, where the mind goes? It will not go anywhere. So we cannot say there are the exceptions. When exceptions are there, we cannot conclude that mind's nature is to go to negativity. Mind's nature, I feel, goes from lesser happiness to greater happiness. Since we are not able to provide mind all the time a great happiness, that's why mind goes around it. But it's not nature. If it's not a nature, if this is understood, then many things, many conclusions can be clarified. It means when we are doing it. We cannot put the blame on mind. The mind goes in. Since we are not able to provide one constant thing of awareness to mind, this is why it is happening. And that is how when we meditate, where mind goes, it is going on. So this is, I just want to put the point of it.
Yeah, you are right, Kuldipji. The mind is being more tuned to the safety, and it always perceives the negativity much more easily than the positivity. For millions of years, when the whole life started from on Earth, from from water or from reptiles or whatever it is, so it has been dangerous to just to survive. So the whole mind got developed, the reptilian brain, solely to keep the organism to be alive and keep watching for the negativity, watching for the danger. So that's why the brain number one is reptilian brain, which is the strongest, which evolved over millions and billions of years. And then comes the mammalian brain, which is the brain number two. And then comes the creative brain, or the human brain, which is brain number three. So as you rightly said, still this reptilian and mammalian brain is the strongest. And there is a possibility for us as human beings to shift the focus onto human brain if we work appropriately.
Right.
Right. Thank you, Kuldipji, to bring it out. Yes, Sagar.
So through this conversation, I may be right or wrong, but chaos means there is chaos, but we have to see as a whole, not only to the negativity, not only to the positivity, but we have to see as a whole, and from there we can create something. So this is where I came to know. So sir, but if we see sun is in order, it have its order. Earth is in order, but why human beings are not in order? They are always in chaos.
Just one more example for the chaos, that when you have the milk, you create chaos to get the ghee. Otherwise, it will not come.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you are asking why humans are always chaotic.
Yes.
What I just to add on, as per my belief system, humans are chaotic because our Creator has put us under test by giving the free will. And then universe is testing us that with free will, what exactly we do. And that's what we are practicing here, to bring that chaos and then order and that cohesiveness where we live our life without any judgment. And then all of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. Thank you.
Yes,
Over to you, Ram.
Thank you, Kunanjit. Kasha, please go on.
One thing, sir, from my observation, what we think is a chaos, even in chaos, there is absolute order to it. It's just our judgment. Without the judgment, if we see it as it is, we will be at ease.
Yes, that's right. Look at our own human mechanism inside the body. So many things are happening. Chaotic. If you really look at, telescopically, it will be chaotic. No, the heart is beating like anything, and so much of blood is flowing, so much of air is flowing, so much of solid food is going around all the places, getting crushed, right? If you really look at it, it's what a chaos inside. But then there is a beautiful order.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it is designed. I think without the chaos, you cannot create creativity and order, I suppose.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sir, you are right. Inside our body, so much chaos is happening, but we don't know.
Right. Because of that chaos only, it keeps you, beautiful outside or inside, and makes you to do so many things as a human being.
Yes. So, what's your responsibility and your powers? There is the question also. So, what this question want to reflects
Yeah.
our
So let's think about it. Let's think about when we think about freedom. Let's also think about the power coming along with the freedom and the responsibility required for the freedom. So that's the context in which that question was asked. I think we will keep thinking about it, and again we'll come back tomorrow 8:30. I think it's already time. So unless any specific points comes up, so the power and responsibility and freedom, we will still think about it, Sagar, and further discuss maybe tomorrow or whenever possible. For today, I think we can conclude chaotically. We'll conclude today's session and come back again tomorrow at 7:30. Sir, Kuldeep ji, and Kunal ji, your shayari before we conclude.
Okay. Tyler said कि उड़ने में कोई बुराई नहीं, उड़ने में कोई बुराई नहीं, आप भी उड़े। उड़ने में कोई बुराई नहीं, आप भी उड़े, लेकिन उतना ही जहां से जमीन साफ दिखाई देती है।
उड़ने में कोई बुराई नहीं, आप भी उड़ें, लेकिन उतना ही जहां से जमीन साफ दिखाई देती है।
Means you fantasize. Fantasy, there is no harm in fantasy. But please remember that fantasy also to the only that extent where you also should remain grounded.
Yeah, so I think this is for Sagar. Sagar, don't udo zyada. Interesting. For me, what is coming to my mind is पुराना शेर है सुखदीपक कुलदीप सर आपने सुना होगा ये खामोश मिजाजी तुम्हें जीने नहीं देगी, ये खामोश मिजाजी तुम्हें जीने नहीं देगी, दुनिया में अगर जीना है तो कोहराम मचा दो।
वाह वाह।
Good, very good. So over to you, Ramaji. That's all for the session.
Right, great. Thank you all. Great, chaotic today. We'll catch up tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thanks to Nitiji for starting this powerful conversation and making things chaotic. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Have a good day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Have a good day. God bless everyone.
God
bless everyone.
Have a nice trip, Asnaji.
Have a nice trip, Asinaji.
Good night.